All right, we are being joined by your boy, Eryk Anders. He'll be back in action in around a week's time. May 16th, he's going to face Krzysztof Jotko in Jacksonville, Florida. The UFC is back, and so is Eryk Anders. Eryk, how are you?
Man, doing awesome, man. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. This has been quite the road for everybody, and this fight was supposed to happen on April 11th in Portland, and now you got the same matchup just around a month later. From talking to you for so many years, even before your LFA days, something tells me outside of the actual date on the calendar that not much has changed for you. Is that accurate?
Man, yeah, not much at all. You know, we've been training pretty much just, to be honest with you, kind of ignoring the coronavirus. And, man, I think, you know, me and I know my kids and, you know, maybe 2 or 3 other people from the gym probably already had it in early January. You know, a bug kind of came through that everybody just kind of wrote it off as the flu. So, you know, I'm good. I'm sure I already got the antibodies and everything. So I'm just ready to show up and fight now.
Yeah, that's something I was thinking about as well, because I never really get sick. Like, I have seasonal allergies, and that's the worst it gets for me throughout the year. But in February, my 7-year-old got sick. I got so sick. I was in bed for a week straight and never felt that way before. So I probably had it, right?
Yeah. Man, my youngest son slept for literally 24 hours, and he never sleeps. And he was sick, not feeling good, and all that other good stuff. And man, I you know, his wrestling coach came to the gym and was training and working on some wrestling and stuff like that. And he was like, "Yeah, I had it. My wife was a nurse. I didn't get tested for it, but she got tested for it and was positive. So she had it, I had it, and I'm sure that, you know, several kids on that wrestling team had it as well."
Sheesh, what a wild time, huh?
You know, but you know, everybody's over it now, so it's all good. You know, sports are, you know, starting to come back online and whatnot, starting with the UFC. So, you know, I'm super happy to be a part of the organization that's kind of putting the pedal to the metal and making things happen.
So once this fight got officially postponed, you just kept training, going about your everyday life, and when the phone eventually rang, you were ready to go.
Yeah, man. You know, I pretty much live in the gym and train all the time. So, you know, outside of like my diet and more like cardio sessions and things like that, you know, I'm pretty much doing the same thing anyways.
So what has it been like, you know, being in Alabama? Like, I know it's under a lot of the same restrictions as the rest of the country. So how have you been sort of handling the day-to-day structure of training and getting ready?
Man, you know, like I said, we never stopped training, even when they said shut the gyms down and all that other good stuff. We were supposed to fight in April, so Walt and I were supposed to fight in April. So we just decided to keep grinding, keep training, keep working. And then, you know, we even got, you know, snitched on. Some lady came up to the gym. I don't know who she is, and we didn't get her license plate number or nothing like that. But she came up to the gym, was looking in the glass, saw us training, and turned around and started pushing buttons on her phone. So we all know what that is. And then 5 minutes later, the police showed up, said we had to go. So, but as soon as he left, we finished our training session anyways, and then, you know, took off. So, man, really the only thing that's changed is like the times that we train, because, you know, we people are like that. And we do have to like sneak around under the cover of the night and whatnot. So, you know, we might train at like 12 noon one day and 6 at night the next. So the time of training is really the only inconsistent thing yet.
What's like the sleuthiest thing you guys have done to get a training session in? Have you had to like block the windows or anything like that? Like, cause you know, you don't want to get snitched on again.
Man, we were going to do that, but we actually opened up a bigger location right down the street. So, you know, we just kind of acted like we were doing construction and stuff and laying mats down. And the new spot, like the front of the building faces away from the highway, so you can't see inside unless you drive past it. So, you know, it's we haven't been snitched on yet. So hopefully we get past these next 2 weeks and, you know, then, you know, it is what it is.
That's pretty rough, man, that someone would just snitch on you like that. Like, to each their own. And I understand like people are, you know, they look at the coronavirus in different ways. And I guess you have to kind of agree with all the stances here. But to have someone actually like look in the window looking for trouble like that had been a little bit frustrating, right?
Yeah, man. You know, she was gone before anybody could get to the door. And, in hindsight, I wish that she wouldn't have been. I'd have gave her one of those in her face before she called the police. So, give her a reason,
There you go. So when do you guys all head out to Jacksonville? I know it's like a 7-hour drive from where you're at, but a short flight. So that has to be pretty convenient. When are you guys going to head out?
We're leaving on Tuesday. I usually, when I fight at 85, man, that weight cut can get a little drastic, and flying on the plane makes you like retain water, at least me anyway. So I usually try to get in on Sunday. They said we can only get in on Tuesday, so I think we get in at like 6 p.m. on Tuesday evening. So still enough time for me to get to the hotel, get checked in, go for a run, and do what I need to do, get a workout in. So we're just we're flying though. We ain't driving no more.
So you're going to fight Krzysztof Jotko, who, if you look at it in terms of recent activity, there's a lot of similarities there. Like, both of you were in the middle of 3-fight losing streaks. Both were able to bounce back and pick up back-to-back wins. And both of you are heading into this fight coming off a split decision win in your last fight. Had you been aware of like the similar road you guys had been on heading into this one?
Man, I know that he was in the top 15 at one point. I really didn't know until just the other day that he had a 3-fight losing streak. I thought he had lost, 1 or 2. I know that Brad Tavares and Uriah Hall put him out. So, I figured that, he had lost 2. But I knew he won his last 2 or 3. And, confidence is a really big part of, the fight game. You may not necessarily be the best fighter in there, but as long as you think you are, you can probably do a little damage and whatnot. So, I think he's riding, winning, having a win streak like that, is super crucial for your confidence. So I'm sure he'll come in there and, try and implement his game plan and try and take me out like he's done the last 3.
How do you like this fight from like a stylistic perspective? I know you more or less focus on yourself. I mean, he does have some finishes on his record, but I think most would agree that should this fight not go the distance, you'd probably be favored in that regard if we're looking into the future. But what are your thoughts on Krzysztof as an opponent?
Man, he finds a way to win, and that's all that matters at this point. Getting that hand raised, collecting a full check, and then taking it to the house. So, he's, obviously found his niche and, got back on the winning streak and, probably looking at is he on a 2 or 3-fight winning streak? 2. So he's probably looking to be on a 3-fight winning streak.
You're a very relaxed individual in regards to this crazy fight game we love so much. Like, I've talked to you so many times at this point. Like, you don't talk a lot of trash. If an opinion needs to fly, you let it fly as needed. But for the most part, you approach each fight pretty much the same. Do you need to find any extra motivation for these fights? Like, is there anything that you look at to sort of add to your intensity in any way heading into May 16th?
Not really, man. The main competition is with myself. As long as I go out there and do what I'm capable of doing and performing how I know I can perform, it's going to be a short night for me. So I just got to go out there and be me.
One aspect of this event, and you mentioned it, that's really cool, is that you're going to be sharing this card with Walt Harris. He's going to headline against Alistair Overeem, and it's going to be his first fight since the tragic news of his stepdaughter surfaced. And as a father myself, I can't imagine what he has gone through over the last several months. But to be on this card with Walt, to be there with him for fight week as you guys look to advance your careers, this could be a pretty memorable night for the both of you guys. What does that mean to you?
Man, it means everything. I think the last time that him and I fought on the same card was on a local promotion here in Birmingham. I was actually an amateur. I think it was 2012 maybe, and I won and he went out. I can't remember who I fought. I know I won though, and then he went out there and knocked out Josh. I can't remember the guy's name, but he was an American top team guy. So, man, he went out there and knocked that guy out, and we're looking to repeat the similar results come May 16th.
You seem to roll with each and every punch that comes your way, but especially in these times, does it make things a lot easier having a guy like Walt, another friend or teammate on the same card with you, even if it's just to talk about other things besides fighting?
Man, man, I think training with Walt as he's getting ready for a fight and I'm getting ready for a fight, man, I think we're both looking really good right now. I think that Jocko's biggest asset that he has in this fight is speed, but Walt's got it dialed in, and I'm willing to take the Pepsi challenge on who has the fastest hands in the middleweight, light heavyweight, and heavyweight division, and I bet you that he would win. He's for sure, without a doubt, in the heavyweight division, he's got the fastest hands. Probably in light heavyweight and middleweight division too. I know he doesn't fight in those divisions, but my point is, man, I'm going again. Every day I'm training and sparring with a guy who, he can do everything Jotko does, and is faster than Jotko is. So, I think the hardest thing to replicate is speed. And, I've been seeing it for the last 5 months now, getting ready for this fight. So, I don't think that May 16 will hold any surprises for me.
Has he asked you about being a headliner in a UFC fight before? Like, you've been there before. He hasn't. This will be the first time he's headlined an event. Have you talked to him about, the differences of what it feels like to be in a main event as opposed to being on a main card or an undercard?
I mean, man, obviously, the main difference is the 2 extra rounds, but, back, they were supposed to headline in December. And I remember having a conversation with him, like, man, you get a little main event bonus. You get a little extra bread for being the main event. And, that was probably the more exciting thing to him than anything else I had to say. So I think at the end of the day, it's money that makes the world go around and, gets guys, ready to get in there and go fight. So, you can go collect a few checks, if you're the main event bonus. I would imagine him getting a knockout bonus or a performance bonus. So, he should be sitting pretty after this fight.
Much like that show back in the day on the regional circuit, you're going to be setting the table for Walt. How do you set this all up for him in Jacksonville on May 16th?
Man, I go out there and get a knockout, give him something to chase, a little motivation. I feel like, you go out there and sleep somebody, you're definitely running for that performance bonus. And, that's also something that we fight for. Because that bonus, when it hits your account, man, I'm telling you, there's not much better feeling in the world to open your account on a Monday, 8 weeks after you fought. You probably already forgot. And then boom, an extra 50 grand in there. It's I'm smiling right now. I've had a deal. I want another one. So, I got bills to pay and kids to feed. So, I'm going out there to put in work.
Is it going to be a little weird for you fighting in an empty arena? I mean, you're so used to fighting in front of big crowds. I mean, even at the University of Alabama, like massive crowds, and to the UFC and through the regional scene, you probably still fought in front of sold out venues. Is it going to be a little strange fighting in an empty arena?
I don't think so. I got to fight under the same conditions that Krzysztof has to, so I can't let it affect me more than it affects him. So, my philosophy has always been like, UFC or Madison Square Garden to an empty parking lot. It doesn't matter. Put whatever's on the contract, I'll be there and I'll fight at whatever venue under whatever circumstances. So, it really doesn't even matter to me if, people are in attendance. I think it actually kind of helps the UFC a little bit and fighters, because everybody, if you want to watch sports, you have to watch UFC and you have to watch it on TV. So, everybody's going to be watching. So, you go out there and you sleep somebody. You go out there and put on a hell of a performance, and get all the recognition and everything that comes with it. So, empty. It may be empty inside, but man, there's going to be millions of people watching. So, it's all good either way.
It's a great way of looking at it. And, how do you feel about how the UFC is handling all this with all the testing and everything? I know you're going to be tested before you even get to the hotel and then test every day. They're setting you guys up in separate locker rooms with all the amenities that you need to make weight and get ready for the fight. How do you like this from a perspective heading into this one?
Like I said, man, I'm pretty sure I already had it. So, it's whatever. Like I said, everything that I have to do, Krzysztof's got to do as well. So, I think it's going to come down to who handles, the intangible things, a little bit better. And, man, I just really don't care, about, I know they're going to have to stick the thing up my nose. That's going to suck, especially because, this right one, I don't know if you can see, but it's crooked. It doesn't even work. My left nostril, excuse me, doesn't even work. So, I'm down to one nostril already. So I don't know how many times they're going to be able to test me.
I know you're focused on May 16th, but you have been one of the more active fighters on the roster and in that division. So, I don't know how they're going to handle things moving forward, but with the UFC looking to fill up their schedule, if all goes well next Saturday, would you want to try and turn around quickly and get right back in there? Or are you just going to sort of take things day by day?
July would probably be more preferable because, my wife and kids and I are going on vacation to Brazil, I think on the 28th through the 11th. So, man, if you think I'm doing any physical activity after a fight, especially on vacation, I may go roll. I may go do some jits and stuff, but man, I'm not going to be out there running miles and doing hill sprints and lifting weights and stuff, so you can cancel that. I'm going to enjoy the vacation with the family. It'll be my oldest son's first time in Brazil. So man, I don't want anything else on my mind, but, showing them a good time and, eating lots of acai and feijoada and all that other good stuff that they got down there.
And if you get that bonus, you can show them an even better time in Brazil, right?
Man, I get the bonus. Well, the bonus doesn't get here for 8 weeks after the fight. So, I won't have that to rely on. But that fight check comes in on Monday. So I'll be good to go.
I wanted to ask you about this because we found out earlier today as we record that the legendary head coach of the Miami Dolphins, the winningest head coach in NFL history, Don Shula, passed away at the age of 90. And as everyone knows by now, you played college football at the University of Alabama. And before Nick Saban took over, Don's son Mike was the head coach at Alabama and recruited you for the program. It's obviously, a very tough day for Mike and the rest of the family. But I'm wondering if you had met Don Shula at any point and how you reacted to the news from earlier today.
Man, is he really the winningest coach?
Yeah.
Ooh. I lost a bet to my.
Oh no!
I didn't know. I thought that he was just known for the undefeated season or whatnot. So I owe my son some money now. Good thing I'm fighting soon. But yeah. I never met Don Shula, but man, everybody knows his resume. And Mike Shula, his son, is actually the guy who recruited me at Alabama. So unfortunately, I never got a chance to meet Don, but I know the rest of the Shula family.
Yeah,
and,
definitely.
My condolences go out to them as well.
Yep, same with me. But on a positive note, here we go. We're less than 2 weeks away from the return of your boy, Eryk Anders, taking up Krzysztof Jotko. Whether you're with this return or not, sports and fights are back this Saturday. They'll keep on going, including this event on May 16th. Eryk, thank you for the time. All the best to you for the rest of training and in the fight itself on the 16th, man.
Man, thank you so much. Thank you for having me.